LePodcast Season 2.
Welcome to LePodcast, Episode 3, Season 2. Fantastic shirt by Gino here.
Like that?
Looking so crispy on the computer. Thank God you've upgraded. Thank you to
YouTube
for
made a
sponsoring us.
promise. Made a promise to YouTube, the listeners, myself, the world. I did have trouble with the AirPod connection, so we're going to keep improving.
It happened. I actually was prepared to not show my face. I was going to have no camera. I'm so embarrassed. I am Cheek Butter of the Week for the first time in the history of the podcast. It's not something I'm proud of. I haven't even told my wife about it. It's really just not something you want to do. It's just really embarrassing.
I don't want to tell you this, but when you were here on Sunday, right before you started to leave, you actually started to turn into a cheek butter. Like your face started morphing, and it's just one big cheek butter. But I don't want to scare you, Bobby. You got to drive home, so the last thing I want to do is like make you look in the mirror and you freak out, you crash. But it was very, very troubling.
Yeah, well, thank you for the hospitality. It was phenomenal. The wings were great. It was great. It was just a great time.
It was a great day.
Outside of the Jets being absolutely horrible, that probably helped impact my cheek butter, but it's not what you want.
You know what did it? I'll tell you what did it. The last episode, you had to get on because Steady didn't have the video, and you said tune in next week to find out the real cheek butter, and it was you. It was you the whole time, just staring into the camera. Like it's very unfortunate.
I manifested. You're right. I mean, it's really embarrassing. I mean, we should just get into it. I'm just honestly so embarrassed. I can't even imagine.
Well, listen, I gotta say, I've got a lot of complaints. You know, Zach was getting necked, all this stuff. I gotta say, I listened back. Then, I mean, you did contender, you had in the championship, the 15-1. I could see a little bit on what happened.
I'm just sharing my screen here.
I can see a little bit on Tom's end for the necking, but for me, first of all, I picked against Zach.
You can't.
Plaza went outright,
bro.
Tom picked Zach. I said all his picks were horrible. He said Zach was a contender. I said horrible pick. I was pretty anti-Zach in that last. I had him in the championship because guess what? When you win the championship, you get the respect for the next season. How many people have the Eagles, the Chiefs going back? When you get there and do it, you know, who else am I going to pick? It's week 2. So for all the haters out there, suck it, you know?
Yeah, honestly, I have a word for haters too. It's really embarrassing. There was no neck. It was just embarrassing. People were just mad their teams weren't picked. What do you expect? Sometimes they do it for clickbait. You're a paid actors. YouTube is paying us a tremendous amount of money to put this out weekly, and we need content. So that's kind of what happens. But I didn't even pick Zach to win the championship. I didn't even pick him to be in the championship. I picked him to win 1 week, and it wasn't even remotely close. Speaking of getting to our pick, I was absolutely miserable. 0-3. Missed on Zach -9.5. Congelo -9.5. I wasn't even in the same realm. It was truly an embarrassment. Hats off to Sap. He dominated. And I thought I had a chance. I had 0 points. Last week you showed up. You're now in the lead. You took 4 points. Your 3-point make-out pick of the week. Plazo, not Palazzo, just Plazo. Fantastic pick.
It was gorgeous.
And
I had
Trigger, it's a good pick.
2 dogs winning outright. Myself at about 3 o'clock was a gorgeous pick.
It was.
I was projected to win by 50. I looked at the app once because I told you I don't look at it early. It's too early in the day. I look at it like 3, 4 o'clock. It's the first time I checked. And I gotta say, I think I had a 98% chance to win. It was something ridiculous. Next thing you know, Pikachu Chuku Nuku Butter, 30 points. T. Higgins, 30 points. Geno Smith, 23 points. Dallas D, 16. Oh, next thing you know, I look, and Dom's projected to beat me by like 20. And I'm like, what are you going to do? So overall, great week. I missed that pick. Dom, who goes from cheek butter to rooftop? Very rare.
Honestly, impressive to say the least. We also, to carry on to that point, I looked during the week, and at one point I said to you, wow, me and Saprol both projected around 140, and one of us is going to have to lose. I didn't even sniff 115. Just embarrassing. That's why you don't look during the game. It's just you play later, you look.
No, I do have a question for you. That Traeger where'd you get that 19.5 line? It's 5.2 right now. That's a drastic shift. Drastic shift.
Let's see. I'm looking at scoreboard.
That doesn't seem right to me.
Whoa. Maybe I didn't mean Traeger. That's not what I needed here. What the hell? This is a clear error. I don't know.
I think you stick with the minus 5.2 because if you looked at Zach's lineup, he's starting 3 players from the Arizona Cardinals in 1 week.
It's
3. That's
5.2.
like a third of your starting roster is on the Arizona Cardinals. I think you can keep the 25 line. Keep it. Traeger's gonna win by 40.
But yeah, my 3 picks are Traeger versus Zach minus 5.2. Thank you for updating that. I don't know where I got that number from. I was doing a little bit of math. I don't know. I might have fat fingered something here. That's a gorgeous pick. I mean, sorry, Zach, your team is just not it this week. I mean, the players you have going this week are just just not going to do it. Daniel Jones is not going to do anything against your San Francisco 49ers, your favorite football team. They're going to be trash. And Josh Kelly and James Conner. James Conner is absolutely not going to do anything against Dallas defense. They are just fantastic. Michael Parsons, probably the best player in the league. Way better than Riddick. But my number 2 pick is Congelo versus Poe. I mean, the reason there's 2 spreads is Poe does not have Keandre Miller in right now. Some made-up running back. He's projected 7.9 points. He's on his bench, but he's not in. He has a 0 running back. I don't know what spread we want to go with, so I will give you the option.
I think we should. I mean, he can't leave it empty. He's got to put someone there. So I think we do the 16.6.
Okay, I will do 16.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, that makes no sense. I had the 24.5, but he has to put someone in.
And then my 1 pick is really a dice roll. I think I'm playing a little game here. I almost never want to pick Plazo. It's really his team is just alarming. Honestly, I heard a rumor that the Mortal Lock has something to do with his team. So I have some insight from insiders. The number one better in all the world. But I think that you're going to pick yourself. So I'm trying to play a game of catch up here because I'm now down 2 points. So I'm going to go with Plazo plus 5.9. I don't feel good about it. Let me tell you that. This is more of a dice roll. Hope I get hot. Hope I get my cards right. And hope you pick him.
Well, you'd be wrong.
Wow.
So I'm going to start off my 1-point play.
Okay.
It's going to be Mr. Steady minus 6.6 over Dom. Dom was cheek butter week 1, rooftop week 2. He's going to be somewhere in the middle. You'd imagine, Burrow might not play with the calf. Bengals look like a mess. Steady's got a nice veteran squad. I think
Didn't think about that.
Is a pretty light line. I think Dom comes back to earth. That's just a no-brainer. Honestly, he should be higher than a 1-point play.
Steady does have a good locker room too.
He's got a
great
good locker
room presence over there.
For now, he's got a good locker room. 2-point play. I'm also in agreement. Exactly the same. I got Congelo minus 16.6. Talk about bad luck. I mean, Poe lost by 0.04 with Rodgers on the 4th play. Scored I think 140 plus week 2. Took another loss. Easily could be 2-0 team. Now you got Barkley on a short week and he's out. I mean, Poe, my boy. Sorry, man. This is rough start.
Not a good showing for a new league, honestly.
Even though he's a pretender, I think bearing the circumstances post lineup right now, it's a relatively small number for Joe to cover. And my 3-point play is also the same as yours. It is Traeger minus 5.2. The second I saw Zach with 3 Arizona Cardinals in his lineup. Granted, things can change. I mean, we have the line the way it is today, but I mean, his team looked dreadful. Coach T's on fire. He's hot. He's ready. It's just a no-brainer pick. So at least, we can't talk. I mean, the only movement we have here is our 1-point play.
Yeah, that's tough. I can't take a lead here, but that's okay. We roll. We keep it moving.
And I have not used my pen once, and all my picks are already written down.
Wow.
I wrote 3 Cardinals in there.
I love that. We had last week, we did our pretender contender championship picks. Do you have any changes? Do you want to speak on that at all, or should we just keep it moving?
No, I think we should keep it moving. My pretender still Congelo. His team sucks. My team's good. What's with this essay you have? Geno, good wide receiver. What is this? No RBs. What are you talking about? So terrible.
Where are you seeing this?
Geno, good wide receivers. JJ and CD.
Oh, this was my early
my
early notes. I didn't know you could see this. This is not good for the pod.
Yeah, what a hack. So I have no RBs. You on drugs?
Well, these are my thoughts. I went through every team. This is what I wrote down. We can laugh at it later. That's why I wrote it down. This is what we do here. I'm accountable for what I thought. I do want to announce that we are very, very happy to announce we have a new sponsor. Last year, sponsored Cheek Butter of the Week was I can't believe it's not Cheek Butter, but we do have a new sponsor. Happy to share it. The ad will play later. We also do have Cheek Butter of the Week from week 1 that did not get played. That will be played prior to this week's Cheek Butter, which is me. We also have Mortal Lock, one of the most requested segments. Honestly, he's up at least 600 units this year from last year carrying on to this year. He hit a plus 1,000 odds bet last week. I mean, this guy does not miss, and he gives out free picks if you listen to the pod till the end. And honestly, there is a new person coming on this week. Someone kept writing in the comments. They said, we need to bring me on. I have a lot to say. I don't know what we're going to witness, but I'm ready. I'm very ready to see it. And at that moment, with no further ado, we will bring him in. I'm going to send a text now. We have Rooftop Champion as well. We're still working on the soundboard here at LePodcast. Having the producer fired was a little tough, but we have last year's sounds. We're probably going to use those, but any edits, any fan submissions, we were happy to accept and put in. But for now, we'll probably roll with last season's and we'll tinker with it on the way in.
Yeah, we got a lot of good segments this week. We have a special guest coming on now. They requested full head of steam, and it's well deserved. He has every right to be on and do whatever he needs to do. It's fully deserved. But we got plenty of segments later. Tom teed it up already. You're already looking. You've been looking at the Cheek Butter the whole time, so there's no news there. Rooftop Champion celebrating his win next a little later. Mortal Lock is giving us the bet of the week. I'm not gonna put 5 whale on it, but I might throw like $50 on it.
Oh, I've already took the early line. It's been hammered. The line's moving.
I'm here to make money, so why not listen to the
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And honestly, if you have any submissions, feel free to write us. We're working around the clock here. Anyone you want to be on, join up. Unless you're Congello, he pitches really, really bad ideas. But we're getting there. You never know. Maybe you'll get a good one.
Yeah, Congello thinks he's on Shark Tank. Goes on as a board, presents, and we're just out fast. Doesn't make any good points.
I am very, very excited for what this guest has. He told us he's prepared. We gave him.
I should turn my speaker down so Gia doesn't wake up because I have a feeling this can get loud.
And without further ado, Coach T.
Wow, look at that picture with the suit.
Look at that stud. Coach T. Wow.
Yo, baby.
Wow. Welcome to the pod.
What a jersey.
Had to bring the pouch.
Stole birds. Stole birds.
Oh, let's go.
Wow.
Coach T.
Coach T, what's it like? You've been writing in the comments you need to be on. We're happy for you. The platform is yours.
I needed to get on here and settle some things. All right. I feel like, first of all, let me set the record straight here. I wanted to be at the draft real bad, right? I think, confirm you're the only other father in this ABLA league.
I believe that's the case.
For now, Zach is
the only one.
Zach has one on the way. Who
has one on the way?
Zach, but not till Super Bowl. On Super Bowl Sunday, it's coming.
Well, congrats, Zach. But for everyone else, Gino knows what it's like, and unfortunately I had, 4 live drafts, I think in a 5-day span, had Brooklyn the next day after Staten Island. And, just the truth behind the story is I tried to put it on the calendar, and hope the wife would just be like, oh yeah, it's okay. And things went downhill from there. So with that being said, I understand it. I had to take some flack for not being at the draft, but felt my name was getting dragged through the mud. Just heard a lot of stuff. I heard a lot of stuff about the team. I was really, really, really excited for this season to start, just to show everybody, what my team is. And listen, not for nothing, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but I think everyone knows, out of everybody in the league, this fucking guy knows the most football out of everybody. Not indicative always of fantasy wins, but I know what I'm doing over here. And so I was excited for my team to get out there and perform. And second most points in the league, 2-0. No Jonathan Taylor, my 3rd round pick. Would have I done things differently and drafted like Olave? Yeah, I would have. But if Taylor was there week 1, I stand by that pick. And I'm hoping to squeeze one more out at least in the next 2 weeks, and we're gonna be rocking and rolling, baby.
Wow. I do gotta
What an
say,
entrance.
Sap there was a huge help for you. Sap was navigating, he was moving, he was getting stickers, he was going up to the board, he was dialed in. But we were, I mean, the boos and the heckles and the laughs when your stickers are going on the board. I mean, you could hear it from New Jersey. It was that loud.
Part of
You
the
should have
reason,
heard Zach.
part of the reason why I was so disappointed that I couldn't be at the draft is because, I know what your guys' friend group is like, which is awesome, and I love the bullshit back and forth. Like, I would have been going at it with people. So you go to our draft and I'm chirping everybody, and then everyone gets all up in their feelings, all sensitive. So Sap's telling me as we're going to my boys' draft from Yorktown, he's like, "Yo, like Gino's draft, everyone's just roasting the shit out of each other the whole time." He's like, "Our draft, it's like peace and quiet. Everyone's singing Kumbaya." You know.
Well, that's why our league last year was like that. Too many sensitive guys. We had to jump ship.
Yeah.
We had to harden up the group.
Yeah, I know, but listen, I get it. I think one big thing is I feel like you always leave the draft, and then I feel like you always look at a team like, oh, that team sucks, or yo, that team's really good, and then all of a sudden an injury or two happen, someone doesn't perform as they should. One of the hot names went too high that shouldn't have gone too high. One of the names that went in like the 5th, 6th, all of a sudden there's like, oh, is that guy gonna hit? He pops and he's like a 2nd or 3rd round value, and then all of a sudden
Piku Nukochu. Piku Nabuku Buchochu. He's a non-drafted guy. He's #1 receiver in the league.
Yo,
look at Mort's team. Mort's team was aimed, as everyone at the draft was saying, top 5, top 3 team. Had blended guys, top guys in each position. No Andrews, no Cup. 0-2, lowest points in the league, just like that.
It can happen really freaking fast.
I do have to point out,
young guns. I mean, my guys are explosive. They're good leaders. Got a great locker room. So I feel good. Yeah, Tom's team is so cheeks. Tom, your team is so ass. If Gio was in Sigma right now, I would scream so loud in your face.
I absolutely am in a bad place. I put all of my fab dollars on a guy named Ford. Never seen the ball play football in my entire life, and they signed Cremont like 12 minutes later. So I will see how that goes. Stefanski said he's going to be the starting running back, so I think Cremont is actually cheeks. That's why they didn't sign him, but we'll see. But I do want to point out, Poe,
he looked terrible.
I did see that you were happy as a clam the following day at a live draft. So I was just wondering on how come that calendar invite got pushed. Didn't get pushed, and ours did.
Why did the Brooklyn one go through?
You got to go to Brooklyn, but Staten Island wasn't enough?
Could have slept
I am the commissioner of that league. Number two, that is like that. This is year 16 of that league. So this is that's like our
great answer.
Main league. And so between me being in charge and granted, if you ask Sat and some of the other boys, so the way that we try to do it now is because basically we have 7 guys that live in the city and 5 guys that live in Westchester. It's not like 10 and 2, so we were supposed to alternate it every year, but we had 2 of our boys flying from Colorado, so we had 100% attendance this year, which was awesome. But they were like, oh, he's coming back from LaGuardia, blah blah blah, it's easier for him to go to Brooklyn. So instead of it being at my house or in Westchester, we had to drag down to Brooklyn, which I wasn't happy about, my wife wasn't happy about, but it is what it is.
The life of a football coach.
Yeah.
Life of a football coach. Angry wives, crying babies. I mean, it never ends.
Reckless. But and we had our inter squad scrimmage the next day. Like, it was a shit show, but it's all good. It's all good.
You're undefeated in fantasy, undefeated in Yorktown. I mean, what don't you do? How many plays do you draw? Because Gino likes to draw plays. Those little arrows. You got to hit the A gap here, go around the lineman. I would like to see you go toe to toe with him. Maybe that could be a new segment in the coming weeks. I mean,
Traeger's a coach. Granted, he's doing this every day. But I can hang, but not, Traeger's he's doing this every day. He's a coach. He's in debt.
I'm putting together the breakdowns that Darren Orlovsky's putting in on Get Up before he even gets on TV. Last year, Eagles were running, counter bash up and down the field. So I sent
Traeger did put me on a counter bash.
In the group, I sent a breakdown, and then literally the next day on national TV, Orlovsky's goes up and gives like an identical breakdown of the video. I said,
that could be a segment. Coach T breaking down.
You can break down some fantasy film.
Fantasy film.
Wow.
Um,
I'm very happy you joined and you got that off your chest. I did think it was needed because you were getting a lot of flack. I think Zach actually started to dislike you and he never even met you. He was like, I don't even like this guy. And I was like, he's a great guy, but his fantasy team sucks. But you proved us wrong, and
Dude,
it's only been 2 weeks. But
almost every pick was a screaming hot, like people laughing their guts out. People's lung juice are just flying.
Yo, but I see, like, I feel like that's one of those things where like it gained traction just because like everyone's drinking, everyone's smoking cigars, like,
and you're not there.
so like,
Yeah.
so it was super flex, right? So I almost went Chase, right? Because he was like the next guy. But I'm like, I know how these things go. When you're like, I was at 6, so all of a sudden on the turn, if you wait 12 picks
Yeah,
and
no
it comes
quarterback.
back to you, yeah, you need at least one. So the calf for Burrow scared me, and I knew that you know, yeah, the Chargers got freaking Kellen Moore, and I love Justin Herbert. I think he's really talented. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going Herbert over Burrow, right? I decided on quarterback, so I had Herbert over Burrow after the injury. And then when it came back, I was super high on Bijan. Like, if I had top 6 in a regular draft. So then when he came to me on the turn, so I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I got 2 guys that I really wanted. So, you know, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's paid off.
Bijan's the best college back I've ever seen play. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like,
Unbelievable.
you know, I know people had been saying it since college, but that like aerial view of him, like cutting and shit, like
Insane.
literally looks like Barry Sanders.
Incredible.
It's crazy.
He needs to cut his hair though. I don't like the long hair. It's not for me.
He probably doesn't say about yours. Look at your hair.
Yeah.
My hair, I just got a shower. I got some frizz going on. Feel great, refreshed. You know. But all right, Coach. What's your prediction for the year? We want your final. Who's going to the chip? Who's winning the chip? Let's hear your thoughts.
You guys are putting me on the spot with that right now.
Yeah, we want to hear before we get off the line.
So here's what I'll say to my fellow podcast hosts right now is that although I have defended my team and I like my team, I'm also a realist and I still don't think I have the best team. I just don't think that my team should have been dragged through the mud. So I just want to throw that out there.
All right, so who do you have as the best team right now in the league?
I still think top to bottom, and Gino, I think when I spoke to you at the draft, you know, I still think that like top to bottom, I still think Sap has the best roster, like overall.
Yeah, I like Sap's team a lot.
Yeah, I think I like when Sap was drafting, like I really like, you know, his team and his roster.
His receivers are great.
Yeah, his receivers are dominant, and like Sap always kind of goes by the best available strategy, and then he always just tries to figure it out from there. Like that's always what Sap does, which I think is a good strategy. It's not like, oh, I have 2 receivers and now I need a running back or whatever. Like Sap literally would just take the best player and then just deal with it from there. So I think, you know, I think it's a good strategy. I think it works.
Now he needs a new strategy for next year. You gave it away.
Yeah.
Sap did play a mental game though. He had an edge on us by coming 2 hours late. We were just sitting there, twiddling our thumbs,
getting hammered,
drinking. He just shows up and just started nailing picks. It was unbelievable.
He was like, dude, I interviewed LaMelo Ball, dude.
You know, like, dude, you know, well, I will say this too. I know you guys trade a lot in this league, and I'm a little disappointed. I feel like there's gonna like be trades popping off left and right. I haven't seen much so far.
Sorry for your phone control. I was gonna send you 46 3-for-1 trades tonight.
Oh, unbelievable. I know. That's what I've been expecting. You know, we were dying because like right after the draft, I'm with Sap or the next day. And he's like, yo, Steady's already texted me trying to trade. He's like, we haven't even played week 1. He's like, he texted me a minute after the draft trying to trade.
Sounds about right.
That's too funny.
I was dying.
I don't think this league will trade as much as last year just because we are missing some guys that trade, but we'll have a lot of trades. I mean, Cangelo alone will probably trade 3 or 4 times.
I'm due for a trade. My running back situation is absolutely miserable. So I'm going to start selling. My QBs are dead. They're both running backs that suck. So I'm in a really bad spot.
I got office hours tomorrow if you want to stop by.
Okay.
Yo, and on Savon, like he's the only other 2-0 team besides me. Humble brag, but you know, I feel like his team's very boomer bust because like I don't know, I'm just looking at this roster here. Like Jones is already hurt. I feel like Henry is, I don't know.
Jacobs is ass butter.
Yeah, like Jacobs is playing terrible, like horrible. Henry, like I just feel like at some point, like he scares me. He's gonna get hurt. Keenan Allen looks amazing, but he gets hurt every year. Kittle gets hurt every year, right? You know, Tyler Lockett again, like been very steady, but I feel like there's just like a lot of veterans on this team, and I just like, although everything looks great on paper, like it just scares me a little bit. I don't know.
My team has 6 guys that are second-year players, so it's a complete opposite. All young, upcoming guys. I don't have really any veterans except for Kirk, and maybe yeah, that's it. Maybe.
As Gino likes to say, paper shreds. So you got to see.
Paper shreds, man. If it looks good on paper, that's a bad sign. Shreds.
No, it's
That was
true.
also said in the Kelsey doc, which I thought was great.
Did they really say that?
They said something about paper shreds. Yeah.
Oh, I listen every day. I'm actually on this episode now. I'm halfway through.
No, the doc, not the pod.
Oh, I did watch the doc. I was too busy bawling my eyes out to really.
I was gonna say I texted Gino and me, Gino and Poe were in a group chat, and I like got to the last 20 minutes and I couldn't watch it anymore.
Bro,
like,
the Super Bowl speech.
Super Bowl footage. I just couldn't do it.
See, I couldn't. I had to watch it just for Kelsey, so I went through it. But the quarterback show, I stopped watching because I knew what was coming. Episode 5 or 6, I'm like, I'm good, because they were getting to the point where the playoffs are going to start. I'm like, all right, what am I going to keep watching this for? Obviously, the Chiefs fucking win. Like, what am I going to like? Fuck that.
I actually have the producers in my ear, and we're talking. This is strictly fantasy football podcast. We're not talking about Netflix quarterbacks anymore. So
All right,
I think
sorry.
that's probably a good spot to end it here.
Fair.
Traeger, thank you for joining. It's fantastic. We can come on again anytime you need. You're always welcome. And way to show out 2-0. I'm cheek butter of the week. It's pretty embarrassing even showing my face, but
and Traeger, by the way, you are mine and Tom's 3-point play this week, minus 5.2.
Yeah, you better win.
I don't know if you looked at Zach's team. He's starting 3 players on the Arizona Cardinals.
Let's go. Hey, you know what? I've come a long way, and I'm hoping to keep this train rolling. I think once Taylor comes back, and I truly believe he's going to come back, because the dude needs to play to get paid. So he's going to have that incentive, to play and get paid. But ultimately, man, we all just got to, ride it out. We're in week 3 right now. We got a long season ahead of us. Anything can happen. You got to make it to the playoffs in fantasy, and then, you let it ride out. But, I'm happy that, my name's not going to get dragged through the mud, right now anymore.
I can't promise that, but for now it's on pause.
Fair enough. And and I'm also excited to see where you guys went with the pod before I got on, because it's a little bit of a surprise here now, because I didn't see the beginning.
Wait till you see after. We have the
tomorrow.
rooftop guest, cheek butter of the week, and we have another segment, Mortal Lock. You'll stay tuned.
By the way, shout out cheek butter. I texted Gino the other day. It's just an incredible term.
You don't even know what you're about to get hit with. Wait.
Oh man! All right, boys.
The cheap part of the week. Right. It's incredible. All right, guys.
Go Birds. Go
Podcast episode 3. Let's do it. Later.
Peace.
Deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I kiss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American wind machine. If you ain't first, you're last. The roof is on fire. The roof is on fire. The roof is on fire. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's me taking the bull by the horns. That's how I handle my business.
My 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
You play to win the game. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely no.
Gentlemen, peasants, Dominic, your rooftop champion for week 2, reporting in. I'm on the valet line right now waiting to get my car parked. Obviously free. Comes with the package. I had an amazing week. My team finally showed their true colors, but we all know what happened. So let's all say a prayer for our guy Chubb. Rest in peace, my friend. We're all rooting for you. We're all thoughts and prayers, TMP. That was a big loss for me. But you know what comes with being a rooftop champ? Having depth. Kyron Williams is slotted in, will not miss a beat. Honestly, he might be even better than Chubb in PPR. So, slow for you guys. Let's say a prayer for Chubb before we go to sleep tonight. One of the best guys in the NFL. Fitting that it's leg day for me today. I'm going to do a bunch of squats for my guy. You all suck. I'll be looking down at all of you tonight. I hope you have a great week next week. We'll see who takes my spot next week. Peace out, suckers.
LePodcast Season 2, welcome back. This is the Mortal Lock. Thank you for renewing my contract. I'm out here in an undisclosed location in the middle of the woods. Guys, 0-2, lowest points in the league. I am the laughingstock of town. I can't even go to ShopRite without people calling me the WOAT, cheek butter of the year. I mean, I dropped a fucking newspaper off at my mom's house the other day, pulling out of the driveway, going up the block, minding my own business. Tish and his family are throwing buttered chicken at my car every single time I step foot on Marcy Street. It is truly disgusting how people are treating me out there. I went to a therapist a couple times last week. She recommended FDI. I booked a trip Friday morning. I'm excited. 10-week stay, Fantasy Depression Island. Guys, I'll see you out there, most of you out there this year, because it's that simple. We're all just donations at the end of the day. $300 for this league, just down the drain. You won't even sniff that money again. But if you listen to the Mortal Lock a couple weeks this year, hell, if you listen to it and follow through every week, I guarantee we'll be profitable, even though you are just a donation at the end of the day. So week 3, a lot of player props to dig into. A lot of lines aren't up yet, but you know how I work. I make my own lines. I'm better than those Vegas books out there. This player that I dialed into, he was overvalued this year. In this league, he went in the 3rd round, I believe. I promise you, if he was available in the 13th round, I wouldn't even thought about selecting this player. He may have been my last pick in the draft. I doubt it. This player, Najee Harris. Guys, Najee Harris is an absolute bum. His player prop this week, I'm going to guess, Sunday night game, will probably be set at 50.5 rushing yards this week. I don't care if it's set at 5.5 rushing yards. I am hammering the under. It is an absolute 5-unit whale. I mean, take your life savings out, put it on the under. Plaza, what the hell were you doing drafting this guy in the 3rd round? I mean, come on. Seriously? So, that is the Mortal Lock of the week. Najee Harris under rushing yards. 50.5, 5.5. I don't care what it is. We're hitting the under Sunday night this week. Steelers, Najee Harris. That's the Mortal Lock.
No. You got more. Yeah.
What is that smell? Oh, it's Gino's team.
As a friend,
Point.
You suck.
We're like one of the most constipated offenses on earth.
Hi, your team is what? Your team is who? Your team is chicka cheek butter.
Sponsored by, I can't believe it's not cheek butter, vegan edition, by Mort Savastano. I just want to send out a formal apology to all the fans out there, for the lack of cheek butter of the week, a segment for week 1. But I am here to tell you that we're back fully. From now on, week 2 on, we are going to be delivering you guys cheek butter. You know what? Fuck it. We're doing cheek butter of the week 1 right now. We had some travel issues this week, weren't able to get to it, but it's better late than never. This team was so fucking bad. I already know, you guys already know who I'm going to say, but this team was so fucking ass that it's the podcast's first ever emergency cheek butter. Oh my God. Let's just start off by saying this team only put up 90 points in the Superflex League with 35 points from Cowboys defense. Oh my God. This team started T. Higbutter. T. Higgins, I'm going to start calling him Mother Goose. This guy puts up, he cannot stop laying goose eggs. He has more 0-point games than Alex Paritsky in high school basketball. And you know that nigga wasn't scoring when he was on the court. Oh my God. He is so fucking ass. And Joe Burrow, I genuinely don't know what happened to him, because I do really like Joe Burrow, but it's like the Doodle Browns have him on lock. I don't think he's beat the Doodle Browns since he came into the league. And they are doodle. Saint, stop. Oh my God. And not for nothing. Let's just be realistic. He's starting a guy named Dalton in his starting lineup. Dalton Schultz is horrible. He's on the worst offense in the league. I don't even know who their quarterback is. I think it's like CJ Stroud or somebody. I genuinely don't know. But you thought he was going to be good? I would never start a guy named Dalton. Not Dalton Schultz, not Andy Dalton, not fucking, I don't even know anybody else named Dalton. I don't care. You're starting Michael Thomas, who has literally played one game. He has the same amount of games in the last 3 seasons that Jahmyr Gibbs has. And this was his first game in the fucking NFL. And you started him. You are fucking ass. I genuinely don't know what you were thinking when you drafted this team, but I'm hoping that you could bounce back. And not for nothing, you think your savior is going to be Geno from Staten Island Smith? Yeah! There's a 0% chance that he ever recreates and replicates what he did last year. So what are you going to do with this team? This team genuinely stands no chance. It's like thinking that Geno Ganella could actually get on a podcast and actually have good connection and deliver us something of substance other than necking Zach the entire time. It's the same thing as Geno doing that Geno Smith being good at fucking fantasy football. Tom, I'm sorry. You suck ass butter. Take your defense out and you literally put up 30 points for the week. Holy shit. If that would have happened, I think my computer and my phone might have exploded in cheek butter of the week. It would just never happen again because you would be cheek butter week after week for putting up that low of points. You suck. Try again. No. You got more. Yeah.
What is that smell? Oh, it's Gino's team.
As a friend. Point. You're like one of the most constipated offenses on earth.
Hi, your team is what? Your team is who? Your team is chicka cheek butter.
Sponsored by, I can't believe it's not cheek butter, vegan edition by Mort Savastano. Listen, we got a special cheek butter of the week live from New York City on the rooftop at Lifetime. Listen, I've been awaiting this day for 2 years now, regretfully. And, I knew it had to come one day, but I do feel really bad, Both of my both of the guys that host the best podcast in the country, possibly the world, definitely the highest grossing. Neither of them have yet to be cheek butter. And, neither have I. I thought we had some camaraderie with that. I host the best segment. They host the best podcast. We would just never be cheek butter of the week. Unfortunately, Tom, you suck. Like, I'm not going to front. We used to always say, Tom carries Zach. But at the end of the day, we have to face facts. Tom is ass chickenton. He literally, Zach carries you, bro. You continually, year after year, draft Kyle Pitts. Yo, he's averaging 5 points a game right now. And honestly, I'm surprised. That's actually 20% more than he was averaging last year. And you still decided to draft him. You are hub. This starting lineup has Samaje Perine on it. I swear to God, I did not even know Samaje Perine was a starting. He might actually not be a starting running back based on the amount of points that he put up. And then this team goes and drafts. Puts up all his fob on Jerome Ford, who is not even gonna see the light of day. He immediately was born and now he's dead because Tom is that ass. And I never realized how ass he was until now. If you actually go back and look at his stats last year too, Tom is a cheek butter. And it all makes sense now. It was just always one person that was getting cheek butter instead of him. If you go back, he really was cheek butter runner-up or cheek butter junior, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. You drafted Waddle, you drafted Chase, and they are now both stoned. You are ass butter. You know what I mean? But I am about to get Kyle Pitts on the line and interview for a first ever interview because he's in New York City right now. First ever interview. So hold on. All right, Kyle Pitts, pleasure to have you on the line. I'm a big fan of yours. I always root for you. You're definitely better than Jimmy G, I'll tell you that. Any words on, your poor performance in the last, 2-3 seasons, whatever it may be? Oh, okay, not much to say, I see. Okay, well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on the world's greatest podcast. You have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your career. I know you're going to turn it up. I'm a big fan. I'll be honest, I'm starting to think that you just spent way too much time at concerts and out to dinner and doing all this whatever the fuck you do, running around the city for 15 miles a day. Maybe you should concentrate more on fantasy football and you won't be ass. Listen, I respect you a lot, man. You do have the greatest podcast of all time. I can't front, but what is wrong with you? You just keep doing dumb shit. And don't even get me shit. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Cheek Butt of the Week, week 2. Tom, do better. You're horribly butt. And that's just what life is now. You're just a butt. You're going to have to live life like a butt for the rest of your life. I'm sorry to say.